Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, represented by the third Vice Rector, Mr. Eko Hardiansyah, MC, Psycholog. The Honorable Director of Institute Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan Lamongan, Dr. Muah MM, MPD. The distinguished international speakers, Associate Professor Prensri Jarun Wanid, PhD, Associate Professor Dr. Yahya Doon, Professor Sema di Gilnea, EDD, Dr. Rahmania Sri Untari, MPD, and of course, the all participants joining today's event. The pandemic COVID-19 has already changed our world decisively and forced upon the world a painful transformation. It has changed everything, but has rapidly elevated some industry, especially the technology industries. But now, the world has recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic, and we have to rise up in all sectors. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy, so we can attend and participate in this conference to discuss how science and research can be improved in the post-pandemic era for public welfare, which is held within these 2 days, that is Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 and 8 December. Raising the science and research in the post-pandemic era for improving public welfare, Directorate of Research and Community Service, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, presents the third International Conference on Intellectuals' Global Responsibility. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Icigr 2021. Let's listen to the reciting Holy Quran by Brother Mas Abdul Shakar.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام. الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى. يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next part is welcome speech delivered by the Director of Directorate of Research and Community Service, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Sidoarjo, the Honorable Dr. Sigit Hermawan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah la haula wala quwata illa billah amma ba'du. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today at this internal conference. My name is Sigit Hermawan, as Director of Directorate of Research and Community Service UMSIDA. It is such an honor for me to speak on behalf of this committee. Let me begin by giving you a warm welcome to the third International Conference on Intellectual Global Responsibility. Before we get started, I would like to express my appreciation to Vice Rector 3 of UMSIDA, Dr. Kandidat Eko Hardiansa SPSK dan Psikologi, Rektor of ITB AD Lamongan, Dr. Muah MSI, the speaker of this conference, Associate Professor Dr. Yahya Doon from University Utara Malaysia, Associate Professor Pensri Jarun Wanit PhD from Konkan University Thailand, Prof. Sema di Gilnea from First University President Philippines, and Dr. Rahmania Sri Utari, MPD from Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. And thank you for Icigr Committee and Participant Conference. The theme of Icigr 2021 is Science and Research in Post-Pandemic Era for Improving Public Welfare. The scope conference are humanities, economic, social, science, and education. The speaker and participants of this conference were from various countries, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines. The numbers of participants is 127 participants. Finally, I don't to take too much of your time. I would like to say once more on behalf of Icigr Committee, welcome. It is great to see so many of you of this conference. Thank you. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sigit Hermawan, for your welcome speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, now let's listen to the opening speech presented by the third Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, the Honorable Mr. Eko Hardiansyah, Emcee, Psycholog.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'du. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Dr. Sigit Hermawan, Director of Research and Community Services Directorate, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. The Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Yahya Doon, Dean of School Education, University Utara Malaysia. The Honorable Prof. Sema di Gilnea, EDD, President of Kota Batu State University, Philippines. The Honorable Associate Professor Pensri Jarunwadi, PhD, Dean of Faculty of Business Administration and Accountancy, Hong Kong Business School, Hong Kong University, Thailand. And also the Honorable Dr. Rahmania Sri Utari, MPD, as our invited speaker in this third Icigr. And all participants of the third International Conference on Intellectual of Global Responsibility 2021. Wish you all be blessed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. I would like to apologize, Director Dr. Hidayatullah was unable to give a welcome speech because there were other activities that could not be left behind. So he delegates to me to take this speech. The issue of public welfare is currently a central global issue, given the impact of the prolonged of COVID-19 pandemic affecting the economic and social condition of the community. Social restriction or lockdown policies imposed by many countries certainly affect industrial productivity, people's purchasing power. The surge in COVID-19 case in several developed countries, especially in Europe and United States, affected the demand of supply of goods, which result in the decline of the global economy. At this time, the new issue has emerged regarding on the Omicron variant, which is considered more destructive than the Delta variant, which dominates COVID cases in many countries today. Although the WHO later gave a bit of relief that there have been no reports of death from 40 countries that have been attacked by Omicron. Many countries has responded to pandemic by refocusing the budget to deal with COVID-19 so that the economic development of many countries is hampered. However, some of the government policies to carry out lockdown and strict social restriction on the spread of COVID-19 cases were responded by its citizens with anarchic actions, as happened in Belgium, Brussels. The reenactment of the lockdown with various current conditions is considered less able to facilitate the needs of community to be more prosperous. They want the freedom to work, to do activities in order to gain psychological and economical well-being. Of course, we do not want to decline in welfare and social conflict occur in our country. In addition, complete vaccination program and the application of health protocols remain the main policies in several countries, especially in Indonesia, to prevent the spread and severity of COVID-19, while slowly opening the economic taps through the opening of various facilities and public transportation, such as malls and recreation areas. The policy turned out to be quite effective in controlling the current rate of COVID-19 in Indonesia. We have only 100, approximately 100 to 200 or 300 per day case, and increasing economic growth rate to be positive. On the other hand, the presence of pandemic is recognized as sharpening technological development. The virality of video conferencing, e-commerce, software collaboration, cloud, IoT, and the emergence of new terms such as work from home or distance learning indicate that our ecosystem will be different from before the pandemic. Even the pandemic ends, life will never be the same as before. Therefore, academics from various campuses and countries are gathered in the third Icigr, who come from Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines, have a strategic role to produce knowledge, concept, strategies, and technology that be able to become the solutions of the problems that arise, the problems that occur in our society. Collaboration between researchers across universities is also very much needed to ensure that we are doing today is effective, efficient, and has a massive impact that beneficial for improving the welfare of the community. Good luck for the third Icigr. Success and happy for all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eko Hardiansyah, MC Psycholog, as the third Vice Rector Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo for your opening speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the next program is signing the Memorandum of Understanding with the co-host of Icigr 2021, Institute Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan Lamongan. Please, Mr. Eko Hardiansyah, MC Psycholog from Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, and Dr. Muah MM, MPD from Institute of Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan Lamongan to sign the Memorandum of Understanding. And then please showing to the camera. Okay, hold on. Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Eko Harjiansyah, MC Psikolog from Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, and Dr. Muah MPD from Institute of Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan, Lamongan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now let's listen the welcome speech from the co-host by a director of the Institute of Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan, Lamongan, Dr. Muah MPD.
Terima kasih. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'da, shadaqallahul azim. Yang terhormat Bapak Dr. Hidayatullah MSI, Rektor Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo yang mewakili. Yang saya hormati Bapak Dr. Sigit Hermawan, SE MSI, Direktur DRPM Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. Yang kami hormati Ibu Ika Purwanti, SEMM, Kepala LPPM Institut Teknologi dan Bisnis Ahmad Dahlan, Lamongan. Kami sampaikan terima kasih atas kerja kerasnya selama ini sehingga terwujudlah sebuah nota kesepahaman internasional Conference on Intellectual Global Responsibility antara UMSIDA dengan ITB Ahmad Dahlan, Lamongan. Bapak, Ibu, saudara-saudara, kami sangat antusias sekali dengan adanya MUZU ini. Hal ini akan mendorong kami untuk terus berkreasi dan berkarya di dalam peningkatan ilmu pengetahuan di tingkat internasional dalam menanggapi isu-isu secara global. Dalam kesempatan ini, kebetulan tema yang diangkat berkaitan dengan peningkatan kesejahteraan masyarakat global pasca pandemi COVID. Oleh karena itu, sebagai praktisi di dalam dunia pendidikan, tentunya kita harus memberikan sumbangsi pemikiran kita terhadap permasalahan-permasalahan yang dihadapi dunia saat ini. Tentunya pasca pandemik, dampak yang diterima oleh masyarakat akan sangat besar. Kalau kita lihat dari survei yang dilakukan oleh UNICEF di akhir tahun 2020, didapatkan bahwa COVID-19 telah menghambat kegiatan perekonomian dan dampaknya terhadap tingkat kesejahteraan sosial yang semakin dirasakan oleh masyarakat. Bapak, Ibu, saudara-saudara, semoga dengan adanya MUZU ini kita dapat berperan aktif dan menghasilkan karya-karya buah dari pemikiran kita sebagai ilmuwan yang dapat bermanfaat bagi dunia global internasional dan bagi bangsa Indonesia. Demikian yang bisa kami sampaikan. Terima kasih atas kerjasamanya. Billahi fi sabilil haq fastabiqul khairat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Muah MPD from Rector of the Institute of Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan, Lamongan, for your welcome speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the next section is the main program today's Icigr 2021 that will be directed by our moderator, Mr. Wahyu Taufik MED. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Rani. Before we start, let me check the availability of the speaker. Prof. Pensri, are you there? Yep, I see you. Thank you for coming. Good morning. Yeah. And then Prof. Yahya. Yeah. Good morning, Prof.
Ya,
Yahya.
Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Pak
Waalaikumsalam.
Wahyu. Ya, Pak.
Good to
Ada,
see
Pak.
you.
Ya, thank you, Pak.
Yep. And then Prof. Sema, you've been here since 8 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for your coming. And then the last, Dr. Rahmania. All right. So, good morning, all respected distinguished speakers. Glad to see you all here. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for you, all of you, for finding time and visiting today's seminar. My name is Wahyu Taufik, and I'll be the host for today's speaker of today's conference. Some of us might have almost the same feeling. Okay, back in 2017 and 2020, when we had the first and the second international conference, or Icigr. So please let me say it again, that this is a very valuable occasion because we can finally meet and make this seminar again. The third international conference on intellectual global responsibility 2021, presented by the University of Muhammadiyah, Sidoarjo. I myself feel so delighted to be here again, to find all of you, all speakers and participants, to engage with the issue that we face nowadays, which is about the science and research in the post-pandemic era for improving public welfare. Well, the honorable speakers from respected university and countries, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the online seminar series. This international conference is the third international seminar conducted here at UMSIDA. However, this event represents the sixth international seminar program, which is conducted consecutively among University of Muhammadiyah, Sidoarjo, University Utara Malaysia, and including some other partner we have, Konkan University and College State Kota Batu State University. This seminar is not only for knowledge and idea sharing, but also what we are doing here is part of our journey to implement our warm relationship with our partners among different countries that we have from several years ago. Instead of UUM, we have other co-hosts of this conference, which I have mentioned before, Konkan University Thailand and Kota Batu State University of Philippines, which was formerly named Kota Batu State College of Philippines, or CCSPC. And then we also have a local host university, which is the Institute of Technology and Business Ahmad Dahlan Lamongan. Thank you for your cooperation and support at this event. We have 4 speakers today. The first will be Associate Professor Pensri Warit from Konkan University, Thailand. And then the second will be Associate Professor Dr. Yahya Doon from University of Utara Malaysia. The third will be Prof. Sema Gilnea from Kota Batu State University. And then the last will be Dr. Rahmania Sri Untari from Universitas Muhammadiyah, Sidoarjo, Indonesia. To support this event, please let me have a few housekeeping notes to make before we begin today's program. The first, the conference will be can be accessed from Zoom meeting or live YouTube UMSIDA 1912. And then each presenter will have approximately 30 minutes at most to present their speech. For all participants, if you have something to ask or comment to say, you may write it on the chat column. Don't forget to mention your name, your institution, as well as for whom the question is addressed. Yeah. The question and answer session will be open right after all presenters finish their presentation of each session. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know that the COVID-19 has hit all corners of the world, all aspects, including education, economic, social, and others. So since the pandemic is not over yet, we have various efforts to face the situation, so-called new normal or new reality. So we hope that people can adjust the situation. The goal is the economic condition may be recovered while the health condition can be maintained. We are surely hope that the pandemic will end, but most of all believe that the effect will remain there with different situation and condition. So without further ado, let's start the keynote presentation session. The first session will be delivered by Professor Pensri Jarunwait. She is the Dean of Faculty of Business Administration and Accountancy, Khon Kaen University, Thailand. UMSIDA and Khon Kaen University have mutual partnership by having some activities and collaboration since I think it was 2018. We have done some collaboration such as today's international seminar, and currently we have international student mobility, which now being conducted online because of pandemic, of course. And we have visited Khon Kaen University back in 2018, and Prof Pensri also been here in UMSIDA in 2019 along with her student. Prof Pensri's expertise is in agriculture and marketing, and she will talk about the digital marketing and customer journey. Yeah. So without further ado, let me invite Prof Pensri. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vayu. And good morning, everyone. Good morning, the administrative persons from University of Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. And good morning, our distinguished speakers from many countries, and also the participants, ladies and gentlemen. For today, I would like to share my experience and my knowledge related to the digital marketing and customer journey. Let me share my screen.
Do you need an assistant, Prof? You want to share it yourself?
Yes, I can share myself.
Okay.
Can you see my screen right now? Did you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, it's clear. We can see it.
Okay.
Yep.
Is this okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Yahya. Is this possible? My voice, is it clear enough for you all?
Really clear.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Yes, I would like to share about digital marketing and customer journey. Since I am the marketing and I also a marketing lecturer for KKBS, Khon Kaen Business School, Thailand. I have some information related to the trends, the consumer trends of the post-pandemic era. We found that 24% of consumers will increase long-term use of digital channels, and 73% of consumers expect brands to personalize their journey. So that's why today I would like to talk a little bit about the customer journey. And what will the long-term impact be? And will people return to offline channels, or has the crisis accelerated the move to digital? From analyzing the results, we can see 5 clear conclusions to answer all questions. The first conclusion is an immediate increase in use of digital channels. You can see from the statistics, you can see from the data, looking at the activities such as shopping, media, and e-learning, finance, and healthcare. Over a third of those we surveyed globally. I got information from Cameroon and Group Digital Commission research last year. You can see what about the spending more time online. You can see the global 34%, and the most percentage is Italy, 42%, saying they are spending more time online. And what about the activities are the consumer doing more online? 54% watching and listening more to streaming entertainment. So this information will change the entertainment business as well. Reading more news online, 47%, and talking online fast, 33%, and also accessing banking, financial services online, 30%. I understand that for this year, the percentage of all activities are higher than last year. So the watching for the first one, watching and listening more to streaming entertainment might be right now might be more than 60%. So this is a very interesting information. You can see that this is an opportunity for the digital channels in the near future. And the conclusion, the second conclusion is using digital channels more long term. For the question from the survey, will you use digital channels more long term or switch back to offline? Compare between online and offline, and they say that they will use online and offline, both online and offline, for global 51%, and for the US 57%. And you can see Germany is 65%. They will use both digital channels, online and offline. So you can see this is the trend in the future. The digital channel will be used long term in the future, even after the post-pandemic era. The consumer will still use the online more long term. So, testing information as well. And see the global digital ad spend is what is the trend in the future for spend the global digital ad. You can see that in the future is from the forecast information. You can see that in the future the digital ad spend will go to the mobile phone. You can see, you can compare between like right now 2021 the digital advertising mobile is about 43%. Sorry, 57%. But in the next 4 years, 2025, you can see the digital advertising mobile will be 65%. This is a good opportunity for doing marketing or doing digital ad on mobile phone. And next to the third conclusion about the digital channels in the future, brands letting consumer down when it comes to a personalized experience. In the future, we will face the personalized gap because the consumer desire for personalization more and more. We can see from the information, the consumer attitudes to personalization will be 73% for the US. You can see 25%. They expect personalization more than the brand, more than the brand. You can see that the disappointed with the brands is quite high, even in the US, in UK, France, Germany, Italy. Disappointed with brands. It means they use the brand, they choose the brand, and then they get like not happy with the brand. The percentage is quite high, but they expect personalization more and more in the future. And come to the impact of the experience on future purchase. The study demonstrates a clear link between the quality of the digital experience currently being delivered and future buying behavior. And for the question, how will the current online experience impact your future purchase? They say that the current online experience will impact the future purchase of them. The global is 56%, and you can see the highest one from Italy, 79%. This is the percentage of the future purchase of the people in the future. And for the fifth of the conclusion from the survey, the benefits of switching to digital, the global. Why they switch from like the offline, the traditional way to digital? The answer are the global saving, and they can save their time. And right now they have good attitudes to digital privacy. So this is like good information for us to think about doing marketing in the future. And I'm show you the global digital ad spend to top in 2022. You can see the trend of the global digital ad spending. Right now for this year 2021, you can see that the billing. You can see the amount of ad spending. And we can see like the forecast, the number of the billing of the spending in the next 4 years, 2025, and we can see that the search advertising, the green one is much more higher and higher every year. And for the banner advertising is a little bit higher every year, and for the social media advertising, the gray one is also higher every year. And for the video advertising will be higher. So you can see all kinds of media, all kinds of digital media will be used higher and higher in the future. This is one of the interesting information for us, for the people, for the business to think about doing marketing in the future. So come to the meaning of the digital marketing. I would say a little bit about the meaning of the definition of digital marketing. Any marketing is just any marketing that use the internet. It's a way to gain more customers and advertise their products and brand throughout the internet and customer life cycle. You can see like the logo that I collected from the social media. We have so many e-marketplace and social media channel for the people to use and to do marketing and also to communicate their products, to advertise their product to the customer. And I hope that in the future it might be much more, like the number of the channels, the digital channel and social media for us to choose and to communicate throughout the customer around the world. And the digital marketing is involving the customer life cycle. So I give you a little bit about the customer life cycle. This is the progression of the step of customer goes through when finding, considering, purchasing, using, and maintaining loyalty to a product or service. And if you talk about the marketing funnel, when we talk about customer life cycle, we have to focus on the marketing funnel. Marketing funnel is the understanding the different stage buyers pass through over time during their journeys across the customer life cycle. So we can see like the step of the customer when they make decision, when they will make decision, how they go and how many the steps that are involved their decision and from the beginning until the ending of their purchasing. So this is a little bit information about digital marketing definition. So I show you the stage of the digital marketing funnel. For the pre-purchase stage, you can see from the left-hand side, the customer start from the engagement. And then when they are aware, they engage the product. After that, they will try to learn, they will study, they will do education about the products, how many products, how many brands in the market. And they might do a little bit research related to their decision, their products that they require. And after that, they have evaluation. They must evaluate the products. For us as well, when we want to buy something, we try to get the information. We study the information of the products, and then we evaluate. And after that, we justify the product. What the one that we prefer, what the one that we would like to buy, and finally we buy or we purchase the product. This is the pre-purchase stage. And after that, after they purchase the products, you can see we will move from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. You can see the post-purchase state. For the post-purchase state, after they purchase and then they think about whether they adopt the product or not. Somebody adopt and somebody don't adopt the products. Depend on their evaluation or depend on their results and the products performance after they purchase. After adoption, if they feel good with that product, they will repurchase that product. They will purchase again and again. So this is the stage of retention. And after retention, they might share their experience, their feeling about the product to other people. So for this stage, we call expansion. It will be like the good stage of the customer, the good stage for the business. If the customer satisfied with the products and then they expand or then they suggest other people to buy the product. And for the expansion stage is one of the good stage for post-purchase behavior. And finally, the final or the ultimate goal for doing digital marketing is advocacy. We need the people to advocate our products and services. It means they will help us. We will support us any way that we will do in the future. So I will share you definition of the starting point and the final point of the marketing funnel. For the first stage of the engagement stage, it means the brand awareness. So for doing the digital marketing, this is the very, very important stage for doing digital marketing, because we have to try the customer to aware about our brand or our products. So the engagement stage is the casting a wide net and delivering value to an audience or customers to find a brand, to have a positive interaction with the brand and be open to engaging with us more in the future. So this is the first step that's very, very important that I already mentioned. If we want to do digital marketing, we have to succeed for this stage. This is the first stage. And come to the last stage, the advocacy stage. This is the ultimate goal of doing digital marketing. We need the customer to advocate us. So the advocacy stage is the ultimate destination of the customer journey. A customer who talks favorably about a brand or product and passes on a positive word of mouth messages about the brand to other people. It means they have the loyalty with the brand. They will repurchase the brand again and again, and not only for repurchase, but also they will distribute the good image or the good way of the brand to other people. We call the evangelism. They try to distribute, they try to communicate the good thing of the brand to other people. This is the ultimate destination of the customer journey for doing digital marketing. So I think will be good for the audience to know a little bit about the customer journey in the digital world. You can see like the stage of customer journey. It will be started from awareness, and then consideration, and the green one. You can see like the line in the middle line of the picture of the figure. The awareness stage is the first. Awareness is the first stage, and the second is a consideration, and after that the purchase and the service and loyalty expansion. So for the online touch points, it's above the line, above the stage of the journey, the customer journey, and for the offline touch points is below the customer journey. You can see the difference between the offline touch points and the online touch points. Let me share a little bit about the offline touch points. In the past, when we would like the customer to touch our brand or to touch our products, we need to do the events. You can see the below the awareness here. The events, we can do the event. We can do like the PR publication. You will like a broadcast via the radio, the TV, and the print outdoor. And sometimes we try to make the people to do word of mouth. But for the online touch points, you can see the difference. There are so many kinds of channels, so many kinds of media that we can use for making awareness, for creating awareness from the customer. We can do the chat, we can do the advertorial, we can use an email, we can use a website, we can use like social media, a lot of channels, a lot of platforms that we can use to make the customer to aware about our products. And after that, for the consideration stage, for the consideration and connected to the purchase stage. For the offline touch point, we might do like demonstration. We might use the sales representative to connect or to contact, to coordinate with the customer. But for the online touch points, you can see we can use so many kinds of things that we can use the web self service. We can use the e-commerce. It's very popular right now. There are so many kinds of e-marketplace that we are familiar. For example, Lazada, Shopee, and so many kinds of e-marketplace that we can use. And also we can do like activation point for the customer is to support their journey. And after that, after they purchase the product, they might need like what we call the after sale service. We have to like to follow. We have to try to support them even they already purchased the product. And you can see the difference between the offline touch point and the online touch points. The offline, the below one, and you can see like we use the sales representative. We use the call center for supporting the customer, for give the after sales service for the customers. But for the online touch point, we have like the community. We can share the experience. We have a chat for the customer if they need help, if they need like a suggestion for using the product. They have like the community. They have like the people who have the same experience, who have the good experience to share their ideas about the service, about the good thing or about the bad thing. If they have experience from using the service. We can use like Twitter and social and so many kinds of platforms that we can use to support their journey at this stage for the service stage. And for the last stage, the loyalty expansion or the advocacy stage, and as I already mentioned, you can see that we have limited channel, we have limited offline touch points, but we have many kinds of platform or many kinds of tools that can support the people, support the customer for online touch point. We can do survey. We have like so many kinds of tools to do survey. We can use Google Forms. We can use like the monkey survey. Survey monkeys. We can use like the Qualtrics. So many kinds of survey that we can use online. We can have like the loyalty program and email and so on. So support the loyalty expansion. This is the digital world and the online touch point from the customer journey. So this is information like to support for the digital marketing. So come to the actions. How can we act? How can the business act to address the immediate customer needs and prepare for the future? Like the McKinsey company have the ideas, have the recommendation for actions, address the immediate customer needs and prepare for the future. For the first one, focus on care and concern. Because I already mentioned about the personalization. The customer right now, they need personalized, they need like personalized support. They need like the personalized service. So we have to focus on care and concern. We have to reach out. We have to like try to support, try to take care of the customer, try to think about the concern. When the customer have the concern, we need to help them. We make a priority of the employees and community, stay true to the company purpose and values. The customer need the trust, need a sincerity from the business. So this is a focus and this is a concern that we need to support the customer. Meet your customer where they are. We have to see, we have to know where the customer are right now. We need to innovate digital models to help the customer weather the crisis safely from home. expand home delivery options, consider contactless operations. Might be like the contact point must to support anytime, anywhere, any person, all the time. We need to know where they are right now, where the customer are. So we try to go and go beside them and like try to support them all the time. Reimagine the post-COVID-19 world. Economic hard time will force cost cut. We have to think about the cost cut, migrate the customer to digital channels to save money and boost satisfaction. So digital marketing is an answer. It's a good tool for doing, for migrating customer to digital channels to save the money, to boost the satisfaction of the customer. Brick and mortar stores may look very different post-crisis. And the fourth action is build agile capabilities for fluid times. We need agility. We need like adaptability. We need to tap social media, not surveys for quick customer readings. So we have to solicit the employees for ear to the ground insight. We need inside information. We need consumer insight. We need to know deeply about the consumer, and we have to adjust ourselves very quickly. We need agility. We need adaptability that I already mentioned. Save time with test and skill labs. Pay attention to the failure modes. Sometimes the business might fail in some kind of doing of marketing modes, but we need to pay attention to why we fail, why we don't success. We don't success in the marketing mode. Indicated you have missed customer signals. This is the 4 actions that I can address immediate customer needs and prepare for the future. From the McKinsey and a company. Okay, I come to the conclusion. For the post-pandemic era, we see brands paying more attention and resources on driving measurable impact. When we do marketing, when we promote our brand, we have to measure what is the impact of our campaign or our marketing tools or our marketing activities when it's come to the solving local and global problems. The pandemic created tremendous opportunities for marketing professionals to help brands facilitate hearing and nourishment for the communities, while directing their resources to where they matter, the well-being of their customers. We do marketing not only for the commercialization for the money, but also we need to do marketing for well-being of the customers. Thank you very much. It's all my experience and my
Thank you.
sharing for today.
Thank you, Prof. Emcee. Yep. Those are very valuable presentation. I think the data would be beneficial for those who are running or studying digital marketing. Whether post-pandemic is opportunities or problem, we decide.
Thank you very much, Bayu.
Yeah. So we decide to understand what to know, what to prepare, and what to do related to the opportunities related to the post-pandemic. Speaking about preference, I myself.
The signal is not so good, Bayu.
Oh.
The signal is not so good. I cannot hear your voice.
All right. Can you hear my voice now? Okay.
It is not stable. It's not stable. It's not quite clear. Sorry, maybe because of our internet network.
Because your voice is really clear here.
Oh, thank you very much. But your voice is not stable. Sorry,
All
maybe
right.
because of our network.
Okay. So yeah, this the post pandemic, yeah, as I said mentioned before, that we decide whether it is a problem or opportunities. And the presentation you said just now is offering the opportunities. I think that's a great presentation. Yeah. Prof. Pensri, I understand that you have another program to attend. So in case you need to, you are permitted to leave because you already told me before.
Yeah,
And thank
very sorry for that. But I will come back after I finish the meeting with the president.
Yep, yep. Well, thank you then. See you again soon, perhaps. Yep.
Thank you very much, and it's my honor to be here. And I hope that I will visit you soon in Indonesia. I always miss
Really?
Indonesia.
Yeah, that's good. Really.
Okay.
All right, thank you
Thank you
for
very
Pensri.
much.
Yep.
Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you.
Sawadee. Well, let's move to the next keynote speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Yahya Doon. His expertise is in leadership and education. He was the chairman dean of MEDC 2017 to 2019, and then the deputy chairman of Genosis Malaysia 2018 up to 2019. Also the dean of School of Education and Modern Languages, SEML, University of Utara Malaysia 2017 up to 2019. And now he is re-elected to be the Dean of School of Education. Congratulations for that, Prof. Yahya. He and many delegation from UUM, including our friends, Dr. Hamid, attended attended UMSIDA several times, yeah. And of course, before pandemic, and many more delegation from UMSIDA also have visited UUM several times, including our rector, some lecturers and students. At the moment, we also have a program so-called international credit transfer that our student conduct an online class. And then can I meet Prof. Yahya? Assalamualaikum, Prof. Yahya. It's good to see you again.
Waalaikumsalam, Pak Wahyu. Waalaikumsalam,
you?
Pak Wahyu. Are you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Thank
good
you,
to see you again. Yeah, and congratulations for being re-elected to be the dean again.
Thank you very much. We are welcome.
Yeah, and I understand that you are also in the middle of another training program. So thank you for sparing your time with us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So Prof. Yahya, without further ado, you have for about 30 minutes. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Pak Wahyu, distinguished speakers from Thailand, from Philippines, and also from Indonesia. Thank you very much for inviting me to present the papers today as keynote speakers. So today I will be sharing what we call our experience and our research about the school leadership in Malaysia and how the school leaders in Malaysia negotiating change in terms of our post-pandemic. So what I'm going now is very challenging, yeah, in Malaysia's school systems, and then the news from our papers last week. The statement is 21,000 students from primary and secondary school, they start drop out. They don't want to join the schools. They start to work, and then Then also the problem in our school education when a school opens, and last November's the attending for the school system start reduce. Yeah, this is the main problems in terms of post-pandemic COVID-19. Yeah, so what we are observing, and then from our research, the school leaders, especially teachers, principals, or headmasters in our school system, what they need is about the negotiating about change. Yeah, because the Malaysian school leaders, they very have proactively undertaken to measure that the safeguards and also the physical health of the teachers and students is equally important to respond what we call the measure to stimulate teachers and student mental well-being. This is what are going now in our school system. As what we know, the MCO, or we call here the TEMCO. TEMCO means what we implement here in Malaysia is about the targeted enhancement movement control orders. Actually, they affect the Malaysian school system. That means they are experiencing an unknown reality. An unknown reality. It means the uncertainty, yeah, then they will continue its impact, then it need to respond what we call the appropriately to. The problem now is Malaysian schools they need the what we call the have a primary responsibility towards students and teachers, yeah. While most of school in Malaysia have what we call the proactively undertaken measure that safeguard, what we call just now, the safeguard and physical health of the teacher and student is equally important to what we call to trying to stimulate the mental well-being. This is what we call the impact of the school leaders. Now, what we are trying to do in Malaysia is the school leaders, especially teachers, also the school teachers, what they need is to updated skill, yeah, to update the skill, because need to work effectively in today's school socially diverse post-pandemic COVID-19. And the school setting is very fast changing right now. So the important point here is the moral responsibility. The school leader needs to enhance the moral responsibility to motivate, to encourage, and support the participatory learning practice in new norms, and also teachers' leadership potential. So they need content that using this approach within negotiated role process to heighten to student and group in schools. So what they need to do is they need to the attractive tasks, yeah, and combined by support and attention. They need to what we call now. So the negotiating change in school now need to manage action that could help the elevate post-pandemic. They need require teachers and students to change their behavior on a personal level, such as maybe they start staying in home, wearing a mask in public and in their school. So the changing here is what we call the human often, the student, they resist change, What we need is now the school leaders is negotiating change within ourselves every day, because it's our nature to stick with the more comfortable and the familiar status quo. Moreover, these broad changes change across the group, especially in group of students, teachers in school and our society, with different motivates and perspective can be complicated by conflicts. So the challenging for our school system now is about the competition over the scarce resources, competition about the times, yeah. And then the second point is about the ambiguity over responsibility and authority. And then also the third point, the challenging is about the differences of perceptions, yeah. And also the changing is a work style, and also the attitudes, communication problem. Yeah, the certain students, they have a problem in internet. The certain teachers have a problem in about the network. So this is about the communication problem. They start communicate with the smartphone, WhatsApp, and also email. So this is what we call the problem of differences contribute the conflicts and also the individual differences. Again, the challenging after the post-pandemic, when the school opened, is about the increasing interdependence as boundaries between teachers, students, and between the groups of the students, so become increasingly blurred. Yeah, because they stay at home, and then this is what we call here after post-pandemic. It is about the increasing the interdependence. So the situation is differently and have a different goal. Then they ask the what we call here the conflict and the challenge for the why just now I thought about the needed for skill negotiating in terms of school leaders in our school system. So what we are trying to suggest now, based on our observation, based on our research in the school system, is about the best alternative in terms of negotiating leadership in school now after what we call the endemic and post-pandemic. So the point about negotiating in terms of leadership, the best alternative we must know is about the negotiating involve two levels. Yeah, two levels. First is about the rational decision making. Yeah, this is very substantive process. And the second level is about the psychological. It's about emotional process. Then the outcome of negotiating is likely to be a result of the psychological element, and it is the rational elements. And then also the most cases, what I'm trying, when we find in our school system right now, after the post-pandemic, is the failure of people, two people, yeah, student and teachers and teachers also, yes, school leaders and teachers. They fail to reach what we call the optimal resolution. Optimal resolution, or the best alternatives, stem from intangible factors. That's why what we are trying to share here is about the need to the school leaders upskill the negotiating skill. Then they need to understanding about the psychology factor. Yeah, they need to know, school leaders need to know the psychology factors is about the how comfortable each field, teachers, students, parents, and then also the school leaders and the community. Then they become about the conflicts. Yeah, conflict of interest. This is what we just talk about just now. Is we will increase the stress, so everything. So again, what I'm trying to suggest, school leaders need to know how to they is perceive or misperceive the answers, how they need to, and the assumption they make is about the answers and the problems. So the attitude and the expectation about the others, they need to know how, too. What the student attitude, what the problem students when they stay at home, what the expectation, what the parent expectation now, what the level of stress in our community. In Malaysia now, what the level of teachers. This is about the expectation to reduce, to negotiate, to make sure the conflicts between the impact of the student performance and school performance in Malaysia. So they need to know how the decision is made about the trust. It's about the how important winning, in how important is to avoid. And then the certain things they need to know is about the conflict, how much or this group likes or dislikes the other group, how important is not to look at foolish. This is what the school leaders now we are trying to suggest to them to know. The important things is about the psychology factors, is about the understanding the rational part. The rational part of the negotiation is relatively easy, actually. So they need to understanding the psychology part is more difficult. Right? So because here in Malaysia system, school system, in our community, this rural area, urban area, B40 or the certain M40, our society, and then a certain group have a smartphone, good smartphone, a certain group that have a smartphone, and then trying this how they deliver the system. This because that's why when we go to the fields, we trying to make sure the school leader needs to understand ourselves. And then our opponents, our students, our teachers, in a psychological, yeah. If we fail to understand these psychological needs and the issues, yeah, what the issues at the root of most unsuccessful negotiations. So that is made the most difficult because norm in our school is discourage open expression of negative personal feelings. That's as intense emotional conflicts, and also often expressed and rationalized and as a substantive issues. So here now, people often drum up disagreements, and they are trivial issues to provide justification for an emotional conflict with another individuals. Yeah, so that's why the factors or psychology factors post pandemics COVID-19, and then the school leaders need to know in terms of negotiation. And then the point in term now is why we need the negotiation to manage the conflicts. Yeah, is about the situation and as what we call an isolated incidents. Yeah, and then also the point is here is about the conflict episode, particularly affected by pressuring, and in turn, they will produce a result and outcome that the effect of the conflict dynamics. So the negotiation is usually need to involve a number of steps, including the exchange of the proposals, yeah, what we're trying to make, and then the counter proposals. Yeah. So in good faith, what we call the negotiation, both sides are expected to make offer what we call here the consensus. Yeah. So the goals here is not only to try to solve what we call here the problem in terms of post-pandemic issues, but we're trying to gain information, the information that will enable the school leaders to get a clear notion of what the true issues might be, and how our students, our teachers, our society sees in reality in terms of the pandemics, COVID-19. So what we talked just now is about the conflict. Yeah, the conflicts, the situation between leaders who are trying to make sure the performance of our students, to make sure the schools performance, teachers commitments. What here now are going on in the post-pandemic. So the conflict here is the process to what we call to occur against a backdrop of continuing relationship and events. What the event here in our school, such as involve the thoughts, yeah, the thought, how the thoughts, yeah, how the teachers thought, how the community thoughts, how the stakeholder thoughts. This is about the perceptions. This is about the memories, and then about the emotions of the students and teachers and the community in our school involved. This is the very must be considered by our school leaders. So when we start our what we call the beginning for the negotiation, actually unlike as the chess match, yeah, you know, chess match. We actually need this strategy, yeah, as anticipate how the other will respond, yeah, how strong is our positions, yeah, or how strong in our situations nowadays in our school system. Then how the important the certain issues, yeah, is it the important of the network issues, internet issues, uniform issues, yeah, and then that's why the certain our government now they trying to implement, yeah, everybody, a student, they can come to our school, use the informal uniform, yeah, like what we are starting now. This is what we are trying to negotiate in post-pandemic. Then we need to know how important it will be to stick to be what we call the hardness, the positions. So the positive approach here, this is try to establish a rapport, and mutual the trust. The point here is the trust, mutual trust, before we trying to the small concession in early. And then here again, the skill we need to know, and then the school leaders here is they pay little attention to initial offers. Yeah, they are maybe this a point of departures. They start to motivate our students to come, teachers to build commitment. Then they tend to be extreme and not to be extreme, or what we call here too idealistic. Yeah, as what we called before the pandemic COVID-19. This is how to make sure the school running well, students will come, and then this is the very points to negotiate in terms of this. For this is what we call the focus on the other person interest. Yeah, we need to focus what they need to, what the student needs, what the teacher needs, what they to need. Then it is not as our own goals and the principles. This is what we need to generate as what we call here possibilities. So in as a conclusion from our research and our observation in school system now, what we call here the negotiating in school leaders, what we call here they can erase the awareness of need to of teachers and students to accept and share responsibility. Yeah, and also the accountability in the post-pandemic. This is the point here. Raises the awareness. Yeah, and then the second point we try to conclude here is about the promote what we call here promote inquiry. Yeah, and also promote the reflective thinking and understandings about how we are now after post-pandemic. We need to ask what we call the change agents. That basically can be the groundwork for truly continuous improvement for our system, our healthy in our school system students. And then the third part we need to conclude here is about the what we call need for different kinds of leadership skill, different kind of leadership skill post-pandemic, not the authority what we implement before the pandemic. This is what we need to do. What the kind of the best leadership skill in the post-pandemic to make sure motivates students, motivate teachers, and our society to become adapt and adopt for what we call here new normals, behavior, new norms. So the school leaders or teachers is actually they are very professional. Need to be a professional relation with the student and teachers. This is a professional task. They need to implement to do what we call here is the friendship in a personal relationship. Yeah. Here it's about empathy. Everything is about the student situations. The what we call the post-pandemic is not a conflict to ensure if effective implementation new norm in our school actually. Yeah, possibly it's not conflict to ensure this. Okay, so what we call here need to do is to establish collegiality. Yeah, we need to establish collegiality and share responsibility to what we call to increase student healthy as outcome with all the educational stakeholders. And then school leaders need to know this is about they are very realness. Yeah, what we call here they must accept personal and professional responsibility, the realness, and try to enacting what we call here inclusive, yeah, very democratic, incredible learning values. And this is very what we call here this inquiry is an attempt to integrate the school, the students, and the society in our school system. This what we call the need to what we call negotiating change in post-pandemic COVID-19 system, especially what we are going to implement in Malaysia right now. because to overcome what I said in the beginning, is about the highly drop out, yeah, especially students, highly drop out in the urban and rural area also when they start, too long is in our home system, to start find a job, and then they this is the problem now. We trying to make sure to become a new normal system, new norms, and the school begin and start very effectively, because the what we call the education is very important to our nation for in future. So Pak Wahyu, I think this all my sharing in our system. Thank you very much, Pak Wahyu.
You're welcome. Thank you, Prof. Yahya. Yeah, I didn't mean to conclude it because you have done it. So I just want to emphasize a few things here. That it is about negotiation as part of leadership leadership skill at school. So there is a need for different kinds of leadership, especially during post-pandemic. So let me quote one sentence that you just mentioned in your conclusion, that school leadership is about realness, accepting personal and professional responsibility, and enacting inclusive, democratic, equitable learning values. And this inquiry is an attempt to integrate both. Yeah. Thank you. Prof. Yahya, we hope we can see you someday here in UMSIDA and there in UUM.
Sure. You are welcome. Sure. Pak Wahyu, miss you.
I miss having a night coffee in Kampung, in Kedai Kampung.
Yeah. So this coffee now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prof. Yahya.
Okay, thank you, Pak Wahyu.
Okay, let's move to the third presenter, Prof. Sema Gilnea. Can I see Prof. Sema? Are you there?
Yes. Can I proceed, Director?
Yep. So let me introduce you to the audience in case.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So Prof. Sema, he is the president of Cotabato State University of Philippines. So UMSIDA and Cotabato State University have quite long mutual partnership. It was since 2014, and it was named CCSPC, or Cotabato City College at the moment. And then the former president already been here several times, but not the new one, not Professor Sema. The first Icigr, one of the speaker was the previous president. Now it is your turn for the second time. I think it like continuing the tradition. So Prof. Selma, please remind me that you have 30 minutes at most to make your presentation. He will talk about science and research, universal better schemes to manage post-pandemic world for better public service in global communities. Prof. Selma, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Sir Director. Can I request your secretariat to facilitate my PowerPoint presentation screen sharing?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Can you please?
Ini ya screen-nya.
Right. This is it. The first, the cover page. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My ever courtesy and respect to the organizers of this very wonderful and of course a very scholarly Doon Research Conference, the third International Conference on Intellectuals' Global Responsibility, or Icigr 2021, by the Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Science and Research in the Post-Pandemic Era for Improving Public Welfare. So the title of mine is Science and Research, Universal Battle Schemes to Manage Post-Pandemic World for Better Public Service in Global Communities. I take this pride and honor, Director Wahyu Taufik, and the rest of the co-host, my co-speakers, and my beloved participants all over the world. Good morning and Assalamualaikum. A warm greetings from Cotabato State University, Philippines. Next slide, please. There is nothing constant or permanent in this world except change. This meaningful statement of the Greek philosopher named Heraclitus is supported by tremendous scientific evidence and backed up by research and even agreed upon by ordinary people based on their realistic experiences and interactions with nature and society. So that is from Heraclitus. This idea is likewise supported by the famous saying of British naturalist Charles Robert Darwin that goes, "It is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can manage change." So that is according to Charles Darwin. Next slide, please. This year's theme, Science and Research in the Post-Pandemic Era for Improving Public Welfare, is very timely, considering that all nations in the world have been battling in overcoming the challenges in dealing with the post-pandemic world by gripping science and research as instruments to improve the welfare of people in all walks of life. So that is medicinal. As the world has been battling the pandemic, huge opportunities and fantastic innovations and accomplishments have been proved up through the interventions of science and research. Many things have been changed. Among these have been the crafting or formulation of policies on climate change, mitigation, invention of more sophisticated transportation, such as the electronic cars, as proven by the existence of Tesla. So you can see the schematic, the diagram here. COVID-19, multi-agency innovative innovation hubs, challenges, opportunities, solutions, and polyculture. Next slide, please. Some countries like China have less been reliant on foreign productions like ever before. Many countries have contextualized their schemes in order to survive the crisis brought about by the COVID-19. Many scientists have focused on protecting the planet, like NASA's or Asteroid Devastation Test, or DART, which has been designed to defend the Earth by using what is known as kinetic impactor technology. So you can see also the picture there. The global communities are gradually recovering from the economic collapse due to the pandemic. Our employment rates have been closer to normal. The number of business bankruptcies are getting low, and the stock market has been constantly getting higher as we continue undergoing an economic experiment. Results of various research have provided decision makers and other stakeholders, particularly the public, an easy to navigate living and freely accessible electronic platform that includes all available trustworthy of COVID-19 recommendations as supported by science. So this is the change paradigm. The world may not be the same again as the realities of the post-COVID-19 may look different around the world. Robots are pressed to service and have been used by some countries in public to alert people about following pandemic protocols, performing hospital services, food delivery, helping researchers, healthcare provisions, or telehealth, where many doctors are seeing patients remotely. Architects and engineers are redesigning hospitals to address the needs of COVID patients. Online meditation and health care exercises to manage the crisis related to pandemic. So that is the robotic world. In reality, every industry has been affected by the pandemic, from manufacturing to production, to agriculture and entertainment, working from home through Zoom and other video communication tools and teleconferencing. So we have observed that and we have experienced. And this is the great example is what we are doing today, the teleconferencing. All virtual reality, that simulation world. Participants could attend keynote speeches in virtual ballrooms, brainstorm with co-participants in breakout sessions, and network in chat rooms, with more employees holding conferences in virtual worlds. Online selling, use live streaming, personalizing service online in collaboration with varied companies. Entertainment shifted from backyard cinemas to virtual cinema clubs. So this is the picture of that. These have achieved through digital access, a challenge to some. But the moment this has been achieved, the world in the post-pandemic looks a lot different from what came before. Our lifestyles have changed dramatically after COVID-19 pandemic. People around the world have become prudent about physical distancing. Some countries have relied in using robots for their routine works, and patients have undergone health examination without taking a trip to the clinics via their mobile phones. Architects have started to design modular hospitals where the waste are used to create treatment for COVID-19 patients. And a lot of big companies in the world have prepared a remote working system to support physical distancing in this period and subsequently. These are some among the many other examples that would shape humankind's future and change our daily habits. So this is innovation, ideas, and advancement. We have witnessed how the use of technology has been essential in combating the challenges brought about by the pandemic. So in many countries around the world, COVID-related restrictions have put in place to curb the spread of the virus, which fortunately are now being lifted. For policymakers, innovators, and researchers who quickly leverage digital tools as part of the acute response, this could mean rethinking and pivoting priorities as the world transitions to the next phase of response and beyond. The question remains, what is the role of digital tools and in a post-pandemic world? Experts reflect on how they foresee their own field of work changing, discuss the obstacles that lie ahead, and comment on the partnerships and investments needed to actively and meaningfully leverage the industry and all agencies for good beyond the pandemic. So the pandemic has revealed issues with how science is perceived and understood by the public. Rapid pace of science around SARS or COVID-2 and COVID-19 has exposed issues in society around science communication and the impact of politics on the scientific process. As a result, we have learned about science and society during these extraordinary circumstances and how we can move forward with certainty. So public trust in science. Science is an organized body of knowledge explaining the natural world by making observations and experimentations. Yes, it is characterized by reliability, validity, and certainty. It achieves understanding by means of statements of general laws, principles derived from sensory observations, and inductive reasoning. Many citizens of the world have embraced science as humanity's best chance of salvation from suffering and untimely death. Hence, trusting science is said to be one scheme in this pandemic. Experts say that it's not only time to listen to what science tells us about, but to understand the various ways a scientific world has enabled the best of humanity's response to it. Our scientific and medical knowledge has continued to aid in the fight against this ongoing global pandemic. Drug treatments for COVID-19 are already in the experimental phase and ready to be used by the public, with many clinical trials ongoing and a number of vaccines have been delivered. The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed the importance of science and technology for the well-being of global populations, and advances in these fields are necessary not only to recover better from the crisis, but also to address other global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, among others. Majority of the scientists agreed that it is essential that we work together across borders, sectors, and disciplines to make science and technology work for everyone. Expanding access to digital technologies is not only about leaving no one behind, it is about hitting the accelerator on sustainable development, driving a new surge in action and innovation through unity and collaboration. Public perceptions of science and research in a post-pandemic world have varied depending upon their background and orientations, philosophies, beliefs, and cultural aspirations. It is the duty and responsibility of the experts, scientists, and researchers to communicate the scientific information to public without creating doubts and other forms of reluctance. In the context of pandemic, COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, which are the products of scientific research or investigations, should be communicated to the public with wisdom, patience, and virtues. Scientists, researchers, academicians, and other experts are not only responsible in communicating the benefits of COVID-19 vaccines. The active participation of the stakeholders, such as the policymakers, politicians, decision makers, and the like, needs to be solicited to efficiently and effectively achieve our collective goal of managing the post-pandemic era with confidence, hope, and bravery. We need to remember that science is not alone. Research is not enough. Science and research are only part of the arena. Indeed, there is a great need to strengthen our collaborative effort with various sectors. So let us listen to their voice, answer their inquiries with expert information based on the best evidence taken from science and research, and work with them with full commitment. So through these schemes, we can be able to fight uncertainties and misinformation brought about by conspiracy, theories, and propaganda. Let us remember that science is a process, not just a collection of facts. So appropriate use of methodology and being transparent, honest, are absolutely necessary. Strengthening the peer review is likewise needed. Validity and reliability of the research findings, building public trust with science and research to decrease their uncertainties and increase their understanding. And research in facing the challenges of the new normal. So hence, even when the world will be reopened completely, the things will never be completely the same. Everything is changing. We must embrace change collectively, armed with science and research for sustainable development and progressive society. So thank you very much, and congratulations to the Icigr 2021. Again, this is Dr. Gilnea of Cotabato State University, Philippines.
Thank you, Dr. Dina. It was a good presentation. There is nothing constant or permanent in this world except the change. So everything is changing. Yeah, everything is changing. So we must embrace change collectively, armed with science and research for sustainable development and progressive society. Speaking about changing, I myself feel convenient about to have online meeting like this. I think it offers more benefit in many perspectives. Thanks for Dina, Prof. Dina, brother Professor Dina, the president of Cotabato State University. We hope we can see you again someday here in UMSIDA, and at least to continue the tradition after the visit of Professor Damang, the former president of Cotabato State College. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Yeah. All right. After moving around to Thailand, Malaysia, and then Philippines, now we move back to our country, Indonesia, to meet Ibu Dr. Rahmania Untai. She is one of the lecturers in the Faculty of Psychology and Education in Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. She has made several research and publications related to educational technology, such as conceptual framework of double system education, evaluating using CIPP model 2017. And then yeah, she was previously joined the first Icigr 2017 as the participant, and now she is one of the speakers. I think it is kind of achievement. So Dr. Rahmania will talk about the impact of COVID-19 on education, especially in the leading with resolve. Okay, without further ado, Dr. Rahmania, the screen is yours for about 30 minutes.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Rector of UMSIDA, Mr. Dr. Hidayatullah MSI, the Honorable Director RPM of UMSIDA, Mr. Dr. Sigit Hermawan SIMI, the Honorable Moderator, Mr. Wahyu Taufik MPD, and dear presenter and happy participant of the International Conference on Intelligent Global Responsibility. First, I would like to thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me as an invited speaker who represent UMSIDA today. Okay, today we will discuss about thinking ahead the impact of COVID-19 on education that is leading with resolve. We know that the effect of the COVID pandemic are shaking up global socioeconomic, restructure. The COVID-19 pandemic has become global. Issue has a great impact in almost all fields, including in the economic, social, political, cultural, and education, and has created social pressures, community, economy. Almost all over the country having trouble. However, this has consequences for declining economic growth, has had an impact on social life, including in countries in ASEAN and especially in Indonesia. However, challenges highlight the importance of science, technology, and innovation as the decisive factor and its scenario of emergence from the crisis and economy recovery. Okay. Outline for today, firstly, the impact of the crisis on education. Secondly, COVID-19 and educational institution. Thirdly, the road to society 5.0. Fourthly, paradigm shift in education and economic. Okay, next slide. Okay, the COVID pandemic has also had a severe impact on higher education as universities closed their slide 4. Okay. Education as a university closed their premises and countries shut their borders in response to lockdown measures. Although higher education institutions were quick to replace face-to-face lecture with online learning, these closures affected learning and examination, as well as the safety and legal status of international students in their host countries. Perhaps most importantly, the crisis raises question about the value of reach by a university education, which include networking and social opportunity, as well as educational content. To remain relevant, universities will need to reinvent their learning environment so that digitalization expand and complement student-teacher and other relationship. Okay, we know that the spread of COVID-19 has sent shockwaves across the globe. Some countries have introduced short-term support measures. Firstly, supply of digital learning device. Secondly, financial support to students and school. Thirdly, fund for safety and cleaning equipment. And sector, including education, healthcare, social security, and defense depend on countries' priorities and the prevalence of private provision of these services. Education in area in which all government intervene to fund, director, or regulate to provision of services. As there is no guarantee that what markets will provide equitable access to educational opportunities, government funding of educational services is needed to ensure that education is not beyond the reach of some members of society. In 2017, total public expenditure on primary to tertiary education is a percentage of total government expenditure was 11% on average across OECD countries. However, this share varies across OECD and partner countries, ranging from around 7% in Greece to around 17% in Chile. Okay, next slide. In February, China was the first to close schools, with the countries shortly following. Out of the 38 OECD countries in 8 partner countries covered by Education at a Glance 2020, the People's Republic of China was the first to close school is response to the COVID-19 pandemic. School closures were imposed on 16 February 2020 in some part of China, where their scheduled spring semester starts earlier, extended nationwide about a week later. Other countries also began to close schools, closing schools premise without necessarily completely ceasing teaching and learning as the pandemic expanded. And preliminary information for various sources would provide a snapshot of responding during this ongoing and evolving global pandemic. By the end of March, school closures have been implemented to some extent in all 46 countries, covered by Education at Glance, but to different degrees. 41 countries closed schools across the country, while 5, Australia, Ireland, the Russian Federation, Sweden, and United States, yes, closed them at the subnational or local level. However, not all countries hit by the pandemic closed all of their schools. And slide 8. Okay. Measures of to continue student. Okay, countries use a variety sources to support student learning while they were enabled to come school, including instructional package like textbooks, worksheet, and printout, and radio education, educational television, and online instructional resources. Countries usually use several tools in order to reach the largest proportion student possible. Another popular learning arrangement in many OECD countries where television broadcasts providing educational content to continue student learning. And in some countries, TV program mostly catered for younger children and primary schools, for example, in Greece, Korea, Portugal, who may have had difficulty using online learning platform or conducting self-directed learning. And what TV broadcasts are also a way to reach students who do not have adequate resources for online instruction. Despite these advantages, broadcasts can be limited to covering only a few subjects due to the short amount of time devoted to these TV programs. For example, the channel in Spain covered of 5 subjects: Spanish, mathematics, social science, natural science, and art and physical education, and per day a 1-hour slot. And next, teacher about based on the following data, teacher report high need for training in the use of information and communication, so that 60% of teachers receive professional development in ICT, and 18 reported a higher need for development in this area. And during the pandemic, remote learning became a lifeline for education. But the opportunities that digital technology offer go well beyond a stopgap solution during a crisis. And what digital technology offer entirely new answers to the question of what people learn, how they learn, where and when they learn. And technology can enable teachers and students to access special material well beyond textbooks in multiple formats and way they can bridge time and space. And working alongside teachers, intelligence digital learning system don't just teach students science, but can simultaneously observe how they study and the kind of tasks and thinking that interest them and the kind of problems that they find boring or difficulty. And moreover, technology does not just change method of teaching and learning. It can also elevate the role of teacher from imparting received knowledge to its working as co-creator of knowledge, as coaches, mentors, and as evaluator. Okay, next slide, please. And among VET qualification, combined school and work-based programs where 25 to 70% of the curriculum in organized as work-based learning in enterprises have been particularly affected as businesses have closed or reduced their operation. For example, apprentices who were placed in companies and sectors such as catering and tourism that have come to a standstill as a result of border closures and the confinement of population have largely stopped their work activity. With an economic crisis looming, it is still an open question whether companies will be able to take on apprentices as they struggle to recover from the economic setback. Overall, more than 44% of our secondary VET students are enrolled in combined school and work-based programs in 12 of the 35 OECD countries with available data. And of these countries, the proportion of students enrolled These programs exceeds 20% in 90% in Denmark, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Latvia, and Netherlands. Okay, next slide. Okay, the Realizing Society 5.0. Okay, the industrial era 4.0. Simple repetitive manual work tasks will be demonstrated by robots and machines. Labor will take over the tasks related to management, therefore require skills stronger personality traits, such as communication, coordination, and other software skills to take over responsibility and decision making. There are several competencies needed to prepare for the industrial era 4.0. Among them are problem-solving skills, adaptability, collaboration, leadership, and creativity and innovation. We aim at creating a society where we can resolve various social challenges by incorporating the innovation of the fourth industrial revolution. And what this is society 5.0, a super smart society. And maybe Japan will take the lead to release this ahead of the rest of the world. Yeah. Okay, next slide. Based on this picture, explain that firstly, connect and share information between medical data users, including medical checkup records, as well as treatment and nursing care records. And secondly, put remote medical care services into practice. And thirdly, use AI and robot at nursing care facilities to support people's independence. And by connecting and sharing medical data that is now dispersed in various hospitals, effective medical treatment based on data will be provided. And remote medical care makes it possible that elderly people will no longer have to visit hospital frequently. Also, you can measure and manage health data such as heart rate while at home, so that it will be possible to extend people's healthy life expectancy. And next slide. Based on this picture, explain that sensor, AI, and robot will be used to inspect and mention roads, bridges, tunnels, and dams. And by employing new technology, including ICT, robot sensor for inspection and maintenance system that require specialized skills, and detection of places that need repair can be made at an early stage. By doing so, unexpected accidents will be minimized, and the time span in construction work and will be reduced, while at the same time safety and productivity will increase. And next slide. And fourthly, is paradigm shift in education and economic technology change the world so fast. Yeah, change is so massive in all walks of life, especially as a result of the revolution digital technology that has created a new normal, a new world around the world hemisphere. And but the consequences of the digital revolution that change our shift paradigm or way of looking at something in all area of life occur fundamentally and not the less of which are radical, especially in the second decade of the 21st century. And firstly, the disruption that happened on the market in the area of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 makes economic behavior between seller and buyers no longer timed by space and time. Connection this interaction in the basic form of building social capital, and one of the dimensions of which is trust. Trust is the inner social interaction. And secondly, innovation in crying at the Tridharma of higher education. And change in the 4.0 education industrial revolution involving element of technology is a challenge for today colleges. And utilization of technology and information can improve access and quality education in Indonesia, especially at the level of higher education. And thirdly, business actor in the midst of a pandemic COVID must able to take advantage of social technology media to keep running business. And the affected sector are also very broad, and in formal and informal, rich and poor, even its economic impact threaten the world with recession and inflation. And the last is about nature school in Indonesia. Okay, here is picture of a nature in Jombang, East Java, Indonesia. Okay, the COVID-19 has changed the order of people's life, where aspects of people's life are changing rapidly. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about change in society and daily life, which are expected to be temporary, like the blink of an eye. One of the fatigue is that many parents have lost their jobs, so they are experiencing economic hardship. Yeah, and one of them is the difficulty of school fees. And many students drop out of school because their parents no longer pay for their education, while education must continue. In the end, there is a foundation that has planned this how to keep their education going. Next slide. Okay, and they build a nature school to be an alternative consideration for parents who can't afford it because this school is free. And schools of nature run the concept of universe-based education. And physically, this school is a building of structure, but only hut or house on steel surrounded by nature. And but school of nature has a concept that is quite unique, but with benefits that are no less good than other schools. And but children will also not be given material in the classroom, but in fruit, vegetable, flower gardens, and others. And beside being free, the purpose of establishing a nature school is to introduce children to the surrounding and environment through direct exploration. This nature school is based on a spiritual touch because that is where the source of intelligence, directing children to have fun, and school assistant in essence learn from them. And next slide. Okay, and the last from me, I close with a quote from Steve Jobs. That is, innovation distinguishes between a leader and follower, because one of the requirements to be a leader is to innovate. And so, thank you for your time, for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Rahmania. Well, there are so many valuable points and information about the need of innovation, including the change related to leading with resolve to answer the impact of COVID-19 on education. And instead of using the use of technology, the nature school now become more and more popular, I think, nowadays. Okay, there are a few things that I would like to highlight here, as well as the closing conclusion of the four speakers today. So the technology around us already provides convenience. It gives us speed and cuts the distance. The system is able to make the learning, marketing, and any process of information exchange process easier, faster, and shorter. Using online technology during pandemic is just a wake-up call for many. We are surely hope that the pandemic will end, but most of us believe that the existence of the technology in education will remain there, especially even larger, bigger, and stronger, with different shape and models. Technology is not only the answer, but it must be supported by all aspects, including the school, markets, government, and all other stakeholders. So, well, this is the end of the presentation session. Thank you for all speakers and participants. Thank you for participating in the webinar. I hope your knowledge has been expanded by this meeting. Now, let me hand over the screen to the MC. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahyu, as moderator and all of international speakers today. Maybe all of participants has a question. You can write in the chat room, or maybe you can on. Okay, please. Okay, Mr. Satria Tirtayasa.
Oh yeah, please, Mr. Satria.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Is it clear my voice?
Yes, it's very clear, Pak Satria.
Thank you very much for presenter. So I would like to ask the question for Mr. from the professor from Thailand. I forgot about her name.
Prof. Emcee, but I'm afraid she is not here already, Pak Satria, because she already asked permission that she has a meeting. But let me check again. The last time she asked for permission. Oh yeah, she is not here already, Pak Satria. Perhaps you can deliver your question to the other speaker that remains here. Those are Prof. Yahya, and then from Malaysia, and then Prof. Gilnea from Philippines, and then of course Dr. Rahmania from UMSIDA Indonesia.
Thank you very much. Because my background is marketing, so
I see.
I'm interested to discuss with her, but no problem, because I'm also a lecturer from Universitas Muhammadiyah, North Sumatera Utara, Musu.
I see.
Yeah, that is a problem with maybe with all the lecture and pictures, because the online learning, teaching by online is many constraints, not only for me but also for students. Yeah, most of them, have a problem with networking, and also about the learning method and equipment and everything, because this is a new method, a new problem, because they like online. Yeah, most of them is difficult to understand about the lesson. Yeah, so I try to change my method. Yeah, not depend on of the theoretical, but I try to change with a case study, and most of them are interesting about my learning, technique, more interesting. But I not make a step by step. I try to make step by step, and then review about their progress. Yeah, I make it an example. Yeah, and then I try to them to looking for the problem, phenomena, and everything. Looking for the article, and make conclusion, everything step by step. Yeah, and then I give an example. So I think most of students interest about it. Yeah. So what do you think about my case? because this is not the good example depend on of the situation also, right? So many of the I saw so many students were cheating, cheating
During
when
the online
we
class.
give the online class,
Yeah.
sometimes they give the photo, but they are not here, stand on the class. I also make absence, about their attending, maybe twice or twice absence. What do you I want to make your opinion about my situation. This is a good or not about my experience, because
thank you.
we have so many technical learning.
Thank
So,
you.
what do you think about it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Satria. I hope the speaker catch the question you offer. Let me start with Prof. Yahya from UUM. Are you still there, Prof. Yahya? Yeah.
Yes,
Can you catch the question, Prof. Yahya? This is a very good case and very genuine quiz that conducted by Mr. Satria. He is a lecturer and told us what he did, and then what do you think about his story, Prof. Yahya?
Again, the question, sorry, the main question.
Using a short
case.
Sorry, I can catch up the.
Pak Satria, can you repeat again with the perhaps a simple question?
The simple, the simple questions.
Yeah, Yahya can catch your question, Pak Satria.
Okay, I try to explain again about my case. That is
Can you make it? Just make it simpler. Yeah, just make it simpler.
Yeah, because the case of online learning. Online learning. Most of my students, when I try to change my learning method. Firstly, I'm trying to make a theoretical, and like seminar in the class, but most of them is boring about my method. So I try to change it. I try to change my learning methods. So I just give an example, give a case, and make assignment for them. But I give step by step. For an example, I try to looking for a phenomena. How to make the background, how to make everything, and that literature review. So maybe it's need about the 16 meeting. So I give a step by step. So my method is not maybe about the 30 minutes online learning. So I give it, and most of them an example, maybe about the 50 assignment, but I try to make review every assignment, review, but I think most of them like it. So what do you think about it? That is the case, because
okay. I got your question. Pak Satria. Okay, Alhamdulillah. What I just discussed just now is this is very important about negotiating. Negotiating process. Lecturers with the students. The part of a very important point here is about the psychological parts. The main point here is the motivation. encouragement. Yeah, when we teach the student in terms of the content knowledge, but they will try to avoid. Yeah, and then we must mix what the different kind and also what the problem with the students, student background, student ability, whatsoever. This is we need to negotiate, and then the part of the point is the motivation parts, encourage and trying to make our class very attractive. So this is the first points of view we need to change. The second point is about the we don't focus on the content. When we teach the students, if we focus the content, they start boring. Yeah, they're trying to avoid our class, whatever. So we must focus on the values, what the values of our subject matters, not the content. If you focus on content, they start boring, because they can make the content in our internet or searching process, whatever. But the focus here is about the values of our teaching process. Maybe we can share the experience, feel videos, pictures, or YouTube. They make it a very interesting process to discuss with us. If we focus on content, they will start to withdraw. They will start withdraw. But the here is what we want to our student conquer, what we want to student meet in our process. Because the problem in internet, or what we call here PDPR, here we call PDPR, pengajaran dan pembelajaran di rumah, gitu. Yeah, in how the process is not face to face. If we face to face, we can make what we call trace what they are bought or not. When online teaching, this is the problem. The problem now is the not what we call directly. So how to encourage this process? Please don't, because if you burden people, they don't want to. The shoulder will go down. They run out, and then we need to encourage them and motivate them always what to do. This is here. This is the situation, and then we must what we call trying to mix picture, YouTube. This is enjoy process. What to do? This is what we call the changing method and negotiating when we start to negotiate with our students. This is my opinion, my perception, based on my observation in here, our school setting and the student setting here. But the same, I think, in Indonesia, the same culture, same, the same of the level of lifestyle and so on. This is what we're going on. Then that's why the main problem I thought just now is about the here in Malaysia 21,000 start drop out. They want to go to school. They are very they are comfortable in how start work and so on. This is a problem here, because we focus on content, then they don't want to burden here. And also my son, when they go study online learning, they start to board, then going to others. They don't want to focus to the online teaching. All right, ya Pak. Itu saja Pak, mungkin pandangan daripada Malaysia Pak.
Thank you Prof Yahya.
Ya Pak Wahyu. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you Pak Satria. That's a nice filter anyway. Yeah. Perhaps one more question offered to the participants. For your information, there is Prof Yahya remain there. Thank you, Prof Yahya. All right, I think that's it, Mbak Rani. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Wahyu Taufik, that has direct our main program. And I want to say thank you for all of international speakers and of course, all participants joining today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of today's agenda. Those are the agendas we have presented to you all this morning. We hope you learned something and thank you so much for your attention. See you on the next occasion. I'm Rani Syahda as a Master of Ceremony. Thank you for your joining. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank
you
you,
very
Prof.
much.
Yahya.
Thank
you,
you.
Prof.
Bye-bye.
Sema.
Thank you, Pak Wahyu. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr.
keynote
Hamid,
speakers.
for
Yeah,
joining.
thank you, Dr. Hamid. Bustami. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good guy.
Thank you, Pak
Very
Satria.
supportive.
Yo, sama-sama.
Bilang jumpa lagi, Pak. Mau ke Malaysia.
Ya,
Insya
Allah.
Assalamualaikum. Terima kasih.
Kirim salam sama Pak Rektor. Kirim salam.
Insyaallah.
Assalamualaikum Pak Rektor.
Baik, kami
Ya.
sampaikan insyaallah.
Oke. Assalamualaikum semua.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bu Rahmania.